Welcome, and welcome back to Andy's Rec Room. Today, we're going to have a look at the Fosi ZP3. But first, I want to put out a huge thank you to Fosi for including me in their 8th year celebration. They asked a bunch of questions to several of us users and people that love the product, and they featured us. So it was a real honor to be part of that celebration, and having used their products, I feel very honored. It's just a marvelous thing to happen for everybody. Today, what we're going to talk about is what does the ZP3 do? And I'm going to say something very weird. It does nothing. It does nothing. And why would somebody post a review about something that does nothing? Let me elaborate. For a preamp, for my purposes, what I wanted was get the source in there and get it to my speakers, and then be able to switch to a different source for comparison. Now, why I say it does nothing is because it doesn't affect the sound in any adverse way. It doesn't add any, of course, it's not going to have any perceptible distortion. I mean, these days, that's just not a thing. But the sound stage is spectacular. The depth, the stereo separation, it's phenomenal. It doesn't do anything deleterious to the sound. What you put in is what you get out. And the reason I reached out to Fosi for this unit was I wanted something really high quality to be able to switch between the sources. What I'm using for this testing was, I'm finishing my new tone arm. It is basically done. And I wanted to test different cartridges. So I ran, for the lower end, the Ortophon Blue, a VM95EN from Audio-Technica, and then moving up to the moving coil carts, I went up to the Denon 103, and then finally a Hanna ML. And I wanted to see which points would make sense for a product to be incorporated into my tone arm. So the low end, of course, is going to be the AT3600, which is possibly the best deal in hi-fi. Not the best cartridge, best deal. I'm very clear on that. Because for about 20 bucks where you can get them, say on AliExpress or some other source, or wherever you want to spend the 49 bucks and get on Amazon, they are simply unbeatable. They sound musical, they sound warm, they reproduce sound very, very well. But if you want to get into the more detailed sound, I would say the best value there would have been the Ortophon Blue. And of course, I've settled for the high end now for the Hanna ML. Now, again, coming back to the preamp, you need something that won't mess it up. When you're doing these critical comparisons, you really, really, really want to know what the actual details are. You can't have, oh, I think it sounded okay. I'm not really sure. My preamp is, won't work. So you basically have to have a product that does nothing. Coming back to the original statement. Now, coming back to the unit itself, I'm just going to reach over here and grab it because I have it very nicely positioned right here. So this little devil is incredibly well built. Nice aluminum case, as always. Really, really high quality feel to it. And I watched a couple other YouTubers that, frankly, I really enjoy. I love their videos. I think they're fantastic. But I think it depends where you're coming from in the audio world, how you're going to interpret some of these features. Now, the one, I'm going to have a close-up here, of the back of the unit, or rather the bottom of the unit, I'm sorry, has a couple switches. You got a tone bypass, and then you have a high pass filter. Now, a couple of people said, yeah, why is it on the bottom? Well, it's kind of a set and forget thing. Once you've decided where you want to run your subwoofer up to, and you set your high pass, that's it. You're not going to be going back there and fiddling with the thing. And even if you have to, the thing weighs nothing. You just pick it up and boop, there you go. So that for me was a non-starter. And actually, I like switches underneath because I want to see them. I want to see an elegant unit that looks really beautiful, and that's what we got. The other thing that was fascinating was there was a lot of complaints about the volume and the detent especially. Now, again, it depends where you come from. If you come from more of a hi-fi world, perhaps it wouldn't be so obvious, but I mean, growing up with musical instruments and getting to synthesizers, I'm going to have a few pictures coming up here soon. All my Roland synthesizers had an alpha wheel, the rack-mounted versions. It's an encoder. This thing isn't a potentiometer. It just spins and spins. It's an encoder. So with an encoder, and it wasn't only, of course, the Roland synthesizers. I had some processing units. You'll see in the video as well, there's going to be a mixing console setup where you have the dial as well. Very common. So that's not really anything foreign to me. The only thing that I will note is the detent is kind of small. So it's not actually exactly as functional as like an alpha wheel or something on a Roland synth or that. But again, it's in keeping with what an encoder is. So it's nothing foreign and nothing really, really weird. And, looking at the unit overall, the flexibility in the back, having the RCAs, the XLRs, you really can't ask for much else in terms of that. So my intent here was not to talk about so much all the flexibility of the back, because that's been covered by many reviewers already. So that's not really what I'm sort of talking about. I'm more interested in the sound quality of it. That was the big feature why I reached out to Fosi, because so far, all of their products have not disappointed me. You plug it in, it works, and it sounds phenomenal. And the budget for beginners or even professionals that want to actually get something really, really fine at a good value price is unbeatable. You're simply not going to beat it. So this unit fit into my system really, really, really well. Because what I have is I'm running a UAD Arrow interface for most of my daily stuff. I have a nicer interface, but it's hooked up to different systems. So for my daily stuff, I use that. And you don't have as many inputs and flexibility. So with this unit, it gave me the ability to test all the units on a very level playing field. And at that point, they were hooked up directly to my powered Paradigm speakers. So I wasn't going through the interface. I was going turntables into the Phono Pre, into here, and off to the speakers. And of course, for the Phono Pre, I was using the Box X5 as well as one of the Phono Pre's. And it's just lovely. It's absolutely fantastic. And there was a bit of discussion also, should you change the op amps in this one? Now, I'm a big, big, big proponent of changing them if you need to. And the key word being, if you need to. If you're looking for a slightly warmer sound or a more sort of authoritative bass, yeah, it's a good idea. Go with Sparkos or something really nice. It's gonna bump it up. And again, for the naysayers, you can just tune out now, just go away. I'm not interested in any kind of debates. And if you start posting silly buggery stuff, poops, you're gone. So it's simply fact. They sound different. They have a different type of tone. But in this guy, for what it's for, it basically passes the signal through without any kind of artifact or real notice, like obviously no noticeable artifacts of any kind. So it worked out perfectly for my required uses. So in the upcoming videos, I will be featuring the ZP3 prominently to use it as a simple level controller for my testing and a switching unit between different tone arms and different cartridges. Going to be pretty exciting stuff. So again, I want to at this point say a huge, huge thanks to Fosi for first of all providing me with some incredible gear that I've been incorporating into my system actively. So it's not like a static test where, hey, this is great, out the door it goes. These things will live in the chain. They are intentionally requested so they can be used, evaluated, and then I can give you guys a bit of a report on how they worked out. And of course, again, a massive thanks to Fosi for including us in this lovely video they made of users and how we appreciate their products and what we thought about hi-fi in general. And I think this case use that I'm going to be having is a perfect example where you can get something affordable, plug it into your system, and honestly, it's right up there with everything else. It's not going to be like, oh, well, good for the price. That's gone, man. Good for the price is gone. These are simply good quality units. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a shorter one today, but please, please, please subscribe, like, and that way I can carry on doing this stuff. I'll have more, probably more input into the products in the future and discussions and so forth. It'll help us out tremendously at our end to produce good videos and keep you guys in the loop with what's coming up. And also, above all, how to integrate products into your system. Anyways, guys, have yourself a great week. Hopefully, I'll have the new vids out in about a week or so. Take care. Goodbye.